Hey, everybody, this is Hal. I wanted to let you know we recorded this interview with Charlie the other day, and I think we said episode 3, but it ended up being episode 4. So
No,
don't have to adjust your set or anything.
even that we screwed up. That's how much we're screwing up left and right. I think we say in it's episode 4, but we forgot to publish it. So now it's going to be episode 5.
Yeah,
but
so I just did it again.
The one with
Charlie
4.
in it.
The one with Charlie in it. It's going to be like a prequel. It comes out after, but it took place before.
It's the prequel.
Yeah.
But so anyway, is a great conversation, and I hope you do enjoy it.
Now! Welcome to Splunk Talk, a Splunk podcast that's all Splunk and no junk. I'm your host, Birch. We've got...
Hey, I'm Hal.
I'm Jeremy.
And a special guest today, Mr. Charlie. But before we get into any of that, this is episode 4 of season Dose. And today we're going to be talking about a varietal of topics. And
I'm sorry, that's not a word.
Oh, a plethora of topics.
Better. Thank you.
And before we go any further, let's check in on how everyone's month has been. So, everyone doing well? Any nude business, anyone?
I'm doing well. I'm trying to get used to work again. I was out on vacation for 2 weeks in Israel, which was pretty amazing. Nice. But now I'm back in the saddle. After I'd never taken a 2-week vacation before. Have you guys done that?
Oh,
I have.
I think it was paternity leave.
Yeah. I mean, whatever the reason, 2 weeks off of working, it is a good thing to do now and then. But that was the first time I've ever done it. So,
someone would make the comment to me, how could I say I've never taken 2 weeks off when I've not really worked hard for 2 consecutive weeks?
Okay.
Let's start
with an
It's
alternative.
a roundabout self-insult.
Yeah. That's good. What about you, the rest of you guys? How y'all been?
Not bad. It was conf and then back to paying homage to the mothership in San Francisco, or rather, I was down at Santana Row.
We will.
Got back last night, so
I want to definitely dig into kind of what you do, where you came from, and we'll get to that in a second.
If we were good at our jobs, we probably would have just formally introduced you, and
we would have set the expectations.
But now we're too far in, so let's just keep awkwardly not acknowledging you, and you keep doing goofy stuff like that.
Throw on a random hat. Take off.
Yeah, we certainly can't give the audience hope that we are actually competent. We can't do that.
No way.
Why start now? Jeremy, how's I think since we last saw you, your face has changed. I think every episode you look different.
That I think you're right about that. I am sporting the Movember since we are in Movember 2019. So gotta stick to it. Oh yeah, it would be Mo all the time were I still single. But as it turns out, the wife does not appreciate it as much as I do. So I get 1 month a year to get away with it.
So she said, Mo.
Wow.
Charlie, let's go from mustache to full-on beard. So, Charlie, let's give you a proper intro. And it'll be somewhat Q&A because I don't know everything about you because there's so much. But you are someone with whom I hold in high regard because you also were a former customer that is now a Splunk employee, longtime trust member, working at
inaugural
Splunk.
Trust member.
Ooh, working at Splunk. I don't even know where do you guys want to begin?
So back in the beginning,
when it was
long ago.
So no, I can do this.
Oh, in a long time ago in a galaxy.
So Charlie, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, but kind of bring us to how you got to where you are today. So go back as far as you think you need to go, but let's not, this is about a 40-minute show or something. So let's not get too out of the.
Yeah. So at some point I was born. No.
Speed it up. Come on, let's.
Okay.
Little faster.
So I refer to myself as a reforming Java developer. I started out my professional career doing Java enterprise development for a healthcare technology company here in Kansas City, and from there, yep. And so from there, my role evolved over time, and people were like, "Oh, hey, you're kind of into this DevOps and operations thing. We bought this kind of cool tool called Splunk. Do you want to take a look at it and learn how we can use it better?" And so from there, that's where I started getting into, hey, what is Splunk? What is it? That was about 2013 or so. Oh, and so this is the Splunk 4. I think I started with a Splunk 4.3 instance that someone stood up and they just gave everyone admin on it. And so I quickly found the Splunk community with Splunk Answers and the IRC, back in the day, the IRC channel. I think the IRC channel is still there. Or just a lot of places block IRC these days, it seems. Yeah. Because I don't know why.
I'm too much of a snob for UI and mobile, so I turned to Slack really quickly.
I mean, Slack does support an IRC connector. If you
I heard
want
we
to
got
use
rid
it,
of it, but yeah, we used to have that.
The bridge.
To bridge.
Yep. But so yeah, and then I basically from there I did Splunk administration. I was always big on giving back to the community as well, because I mean they helped me get up and going, and so I participate on Answers. I participate on Reddit a little bit more so now that I'm a employee. I do whatever.
So I think I already know the question, but were you already into participating in building technical communities before you found Splunk?
Not really.
Really, that's interesting.
Yeah, because I was one of the big things, like I was big on making sure that that knowledge is shared. Being knowledge workers, it's very hard for like, oh, let me build this software, but then if no one else can use it, then what good is it, right? And so like internally internally at previous employer, we were very big on, hey, here's an internal social network. Hey, make sure all your stuff is documented. Hey, how do you advertise and get collaboration and buy in from everyone, and make sure that everyone's able to understand and go forward. Or it's very
okay. So there was sounds like a pretty healthy community internally.
Yeah, and so
not all companies have that at all. So that's good.
Yep. And so it was basically establishing a place where, hey, I have a question about our DevOps suite, whether it was Splunk, Chef, Zabbix, a few others or tools in that chain of how do we deploy, manage all of our applications going forward. And it was a very healthy back and forth of, hey, let's delegate to you this, let's bring this together. But
so it's kind of in your blood, this altruistic engineer.
as much as possible. And then it was last January is when I actually made the switch over to Splunk. And at that time, it was, the interview process a few months before that, but basically Steve McMahon, who I don't know, how do you all know him? Or yeah, I met him because he actually serviced some of my support tickets when he was on support, and then he moved over to Splunk Cloud, and then he moved over to the Splunk IT department, and he had this team of, hey, Splunk at Splunk, we make this really cool tool for data analytics and security and IT use cases. Wouldn't it be cool that we can just have a team to use it? So I'm one.
It's a nice idea,
yeah. So I think we've hired at least 4 different former customers. So first it was Clara Merriman, and it
also
was
Trust.
Also Trust Mason Morales. Yes, myself. We recently hired Micah Kemp. Yep, and so we were all former Trust, so we all kind of knew each other, and as well as we have a number of other folks who came to either from some of them from former customers, some of them were just around Splunk, trying to bring all of the awesome Splunk together to the rest of Splunk. And actually, that was why I was in the Bay Area this past week. Was we were doing our big on-site, and we're
providing. So the team's distributed. You're not all in the Bay Area.
It's Mason's up in Seattle. I'm out here in Kansas. Micah is down in Texas. A lot of them happen to be in the Bay Area, but there's
so prior to the team being Splunk at Splunk, there was an earlier effort called Splunk Zero, as I recall. I think the goal was largely the same, but it sounds like there was kind of a renewed push. Is that fair?
A renewed push, and it always seemed like there was a little bit of a not a specific focus, as much focus to it as when it was Splunk Zero, and I think there was also Splunk X in there.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that one.
That was the first.
Yep. And so it was X and then Zero, and then but yeah, I came on and I started by saying, hey, we're going to throw out how we're going to do roles completely. And I know Birch and Birch is on the best practices team, and so we talk about ideas on good management and how to get
and then choose to not do any of those good ideas. I'm going to acknowledge the right choice and do the opposite.
Hey, or do something better.
Hey.
But it's all good.
What I know we danced around the trust, and I think
we need to drill into it a little bit.
Yeah, actually. Let's unpack that. Let's do a little scenario. Put on your finest in Fez, and
second finest.
What's a conversation? Yeah, a conversation that you probably have had many a conf. What's that about, Charlie?
So the SplunkTrust, if you do not know, are the people who are not necessarily the smartest people in the room, but they're the most helpful.
You lead with that?
That is that's from so long ago. Oh,
in a galaxy far, far away.
Yes.
Did Mr. Q?
Can we say that? Are we allowed to say that?
Yeah, we've got a licensing fee for that.
No, if it's for parody, then we're fine.
Okay, right.
we're kind of well. Anyway, so what happened is I mentioned on my journey was the whole Splunk community and how awesome and helpful, because the community is there were Splunk employees, some of them engineers, and as well there was Splunk customers and partners who would just get together and help each other solve problems with each other's environments, just altruistically out there, help us help you, you learn, you help teach. It's a nice self-feeding environment. Well, Rachel Perkins, as many of you know, was the caretaker of the community, but she's the one, hey, be helpful, be awesome to each other, and party on.
She had all the
culture,
all the right. Yeah, thank you, culture. Yeah, she had all the right attributes. She was kind of shepherding people together to do these good things, but there was no name for it. There was no program around it. It was just Splunk community.
We had Karma at the time on the answers.
Answers. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
there was some incentive, but it was like there was no end game to it, and not that Karma alone gets you into the trust either.
Right. And it's also Karma by itself only recognizes contributions to Splunk Answers, whereas there are trust members who are like Tony Ranke up in Nebraska, right above me. He is awesome at forming user groups and helping user groups around the world get off the ground. And that's like, hey, let's enable Splunk users to talk to each other. I mean, that's an amazing contribution.
So just a quick clarification. So, I know that this really needed to be explained to me when I first started. So we've got Conf, which is our big user conference once a year. We've got Splunk Live, which is events that happen in local areas where Splunk generally and sometimes customers will present some things, but it's only a couple hours or a day. And then there's user groups, which I always think of as the FUBU, the for us, by us. Like users organize, users decide what they want to do. And it's really, as someone who's now an employee, I actually really admire the, like, salespeople, you're not allowed to come. And then like technical Splunk people, like, you can come, but this ain't your show. This ain't about you.
Right. There's no explicit connection between user groups and the company. There's indirect connections in the sense that, hey, if you want to start a user group in your community, you need some help getting off the ground, resources, maybe sponsor some food, that there's a couple of avenues there. But there's no editorial control. There's no, direction that you're going to, you must do these things to be, blessed as a official. No, there's none of that.
And so, Charlie, to the point you were making about here's someone who is in the trust, is not necessarily a notable person on Answers, but like, think about the effort and the passion and the pay it forward that goes into helping establish such a strong user group, not only there, but helping other ones get off the ground. Very selfless.
Yeah. So there's multiple ways to get into the trust and be recognized. Karma from Answers was the first and only way for a while, but since then there's more.
And so, but to get back on track to the story, because we kind of jumped ahead a little bit, but Rachel would, because she valued these contributions and wanted to give back to these people to recognize them somehow. There was limited community swag that was created, and so like you'll see there's an Ermagerd t-shirt. There's the Up All Night to Get Blank t-shirt, and they tend to say Splunk Answers on the back. Mm-hmm. There's the capes that were that you'll see that say the one, man, my cape is right over there. I should probably just go get it. But it's here to save the day.
Hold on. We have a thing. Jeremy, can you pause the stream? Just pause. Okay, go get the cape.
Okay.
Well, we're not streaming, so I'll fix it in post. What's the timestamp? 44. There we go.
Do not remove this. Do not remove this. Everything is live. All right, cool. So if you're listening to this, go check out the the video rather, so you get to see the cape.
So those capes, I don't think we make them anymore.
That's
but
awesome.
Back in like 2013 and 14,
Yep.
I mean,
so 2013 was the wait. I have to go check my dates on that. But there was a first run of capes, which was like this, that tied. Mm-hmm. That Rachel, she sent them out to people to recognize, and they actually came with a little card of thank you for being awesome to the community. Aww. And also on the Splunk gallery, I think Dwayne Waddle, A.K.A. OfFEZ, gave me a picture of his card to put up there.
Nice.
But then it was Comp 14 that it was Clint Sharp was doing part of the keynote, and he was coccyx in the community, and his portion of the keynote was all about doing how Splunk makes you a superhero. And so to kind of egg him on, Rachel actually had Velcro capes. Like, it was cheap. I don't know why it was the different vendor, but she made these same wordings on the back, but it Velcros. Mm-hmm. And so during Clint's keynote, we had a whole bunch of people in capes and fezzes stand up, nice. Doing part of it to just kind of recognize and say,
so
hey.
You got to mention where did the fezzes come from?
Yes. So the fezzes, oh man, you're making me pull up everything off the top of my head. I need to.
If only you had a gallery where you had all of this documented.
Oh, how about that? So yeah.
So while I see you typing there, Charlie, two easy questions. One, tell us your handle on Answers that we might better recognize you as.
So my handle on Answers is A.Charlie H. That's just a part of my name. My first initial is A, and
but
Charlie. But on Slack, I am Teddy B Fez because
Oh.
I am the Splunk teddy bear, and that is actually who I am. Externally,
That's your alter ego.
as my alter ego now. That is my ego, and even at conf, I was running around with my teddy bear Fez.
Nice. So, at what point did you realize that somebody needed to kind of take record of the historical swag and all these different unique things that some of them had wider release than others?
And you're referring to the website that
the gallery.
The gallery.
And so it was, man, I was a customer still. It was still like probably 2015, 2016. Well,
that sounds about right. 15 or 16.
15 or 16. And I started floating the idea about it. And I think it was, I worked with Lenny E. Stein, who got me in touch with the appropriate people, because he was over legal at the time. And so he actually, okay, let's actually do this correctly, have all the various things in place.
Let's have you not get sued,
Yeah. Let's have not get sued, make sure we have all the controls. And yeah. Yep. And so let's see if I can if you want me to share, I have it pulled up here.
Sure.
We've never done sharing.
There's first time
we're going to see how this works.
See how this works. And so here it is.
.splunkgallery.com. What is just splunkgallery.com then?
It just redirects.
Oh, okay.
I mean, and if you just do Splunk Gallery, it'll redirect to.
It reminds you that you forgot an article.
Just like the Ohio State, it's the Splunk Gallery. No.
That's funny. I'd never heard that the Ohio State before until yesterday.
Really?
But now I heard it twice. Baby. Now I heard it twice in 2 days. That's weird.
But yeah,
do not follow college football.
So this is just the site, and these are the most recent ones that I've put up. Unfortunately, I haven't had as much time to work on it. I've last updated it in May, apparently. But
people can contribute their stuff as well, right?
Yeah.
What categories of things are up here?
Yeah, and so people can. There's a whole contributing page about just send it to this email address. It's all it is AWS, and I'm just receiving in an S3 bucket that email, or you can reach out to me over Slack or directly. And so we can go by category. And so there were some of I got pictures of some of the holiday gifts. These are ones I want to go back and write more about all sorts of various T-shirts, both official and unofficial. And so I'm trying to think which one of these has a really good story to it. So there was a Splunk 4 shirt about finding your faults 10 times faster than mom.
I did not know that one.
Yeah. I actually have that one in the closet over there too, but it might take me a while to go find it because Rachel gave me, here's a bunch of shirts. It's like, okay.
Oh, neat.
But
we are a T-shirt company after all.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you have the link to that video on there?
Ooh, we should definitely
link that video to the description of this. But like the finding your faults, just like mom, was coined by David Carasso. So, and of course, the joke is it's a monitor of monitors, but is one joke, but the other joke is, well, it's your mother. And there's also related to this, there is a finding your faults just like mom. And there's also this shirt, which I don't have media up there, but someone had a picture of it on Flickr here that I linked to.
So briefly, if you want to, just for the record of people following along, the T-shirt company video, if you want to click on that link real quick, Charlie, and flash it so that we can have people go to that later at their leisure.
Yeah.
So there's a cool video. This was, professionally produced and the Splunk T-shirt company. So go check that out sometime. It's funny. I mean, we did a pretty good job at it.
A couple of Easter eggs in there. The marketing department, when he walks into the room in the marketing department and they're evaluating shirts and stuff, that's actually people that work in marketing at Splunk. And then I recognize when they are hosing people down, when they're hosing this guy down, that's 3 people from our marketing.
Yeah, right there.
That scene.
The scene right over here. Okay.
So they all work in marketing, and then in that scene, you got Sarah, Ben, and Christopher Russell over there, all in the marketing group. The two on the right being folks that actually help make Splunk Conf wonderful.
But yeah, we don't take ourselves too seriously here.
Yeah.
Just wanted that known for the record.
In fact, it seemed like the narrator through the whole thing, that guy is wearing a wig. I don't know if that's...
It definitely looks like he is, doesn't it?
Yeah. Like, he probably doesn't need to, but just to like make it cheesier, they put one on.
I'm down with that. Anyway, please continue, Charlie.
Oh, what was I talking about at that point?
I don't know. Go back to the... There we go.
So, but yeah, and so it's a Jekyll site. It's all posted on GitHub. It generates like links back and forth of like, hey, yeah. So like people sent me links of David, and so like I linked his Splunk blog. I linked all the places he's mentioned. So like there's stories about when Splunk moved, hey, they figured out if we just put a label on all the plants, we'll have them all wind up in David's cube. And so we wound up with the jungle. There's a few other, stories about jokes around. There's the deck of playing cards that I don't think is made anymore, but like Russ Uman actually went through and got everyone's signatures on all their face pictures. And so I actually talk about who each of the cards are and why they were added here to the deck. So
that's neat. I missed that one. And there's so much stuff, and like none of us have like, there's so much to experience here that was just classic Splunk.
Yep, and that's part of the thing is we're fun. I mean, Splunk fun being a core value is kind of amazing. It's
Splunk Storm.
Yep. Oh yeah.
F.
It's yep. This shirt. Yep.
Oh, that's great. That look wow. It's actually not
pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like Cyclops there, doesn't it?
It's RoboCop.
Or no,
RoboCop.
RoboCop.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yep.
They are actually kind of similar.
But in any case, go ahead.
Awesome. Thanks for taking us down the history lane there, man.
Yeah. I mean, but yeah, it was just as they said, hey, come up with this. I came up with this idea. I worked Splunk. People at Splunk thought it was awesome. They helped me get all the proper things in place and got the domain name bought. And I just threw it up, and it's on GitHub. It's on here. There's just splunkgallery.com. And yeah, it's, if people want to help out, no problem. It's awesome. That'd be cool. But yeah, it's just a side project to have fun and expose the fun that's all around Splunk, because it is really, we are a t-shirt company to a degree, but and like this particular shirt is an old one because it came from like an old customer feedback. Of course, Karen
Back when
D.
he worked
Baines
on
is
support, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Back on support, and it was anyway.
So let's flash forward a little bit and talk about some of the types of things that you're doing. There you go. Thank you. With specifically Splunk at Splunk and kind of your day job, I guess. The mission of Splunk at Splunk is to get us to use the product the way that it's meant to be used. What you think is like, oh yeah, no big deal, that's a no-brainer, but there's probably a little more to it than that.
There is more to it, because it's not only let's provide a world-class Splunk environment platform for Splunk to use. So we actually have some stuff that is on-prem. We have some stuff that's in Splunk Cloud. We're trying, as we're acquiring more companies, we're actually looking at, hey, let's actually get these other companies.
Mm-hmm.
I use VictorOps I get alerts about, hey, something's not being ingested correctly. I get an alert, or whoever's on call for that week gets an alert in VictorOps and is able to see that. And let's actually embed more and more work of these products together to actually have the full picture. But it's, the idea is our team is here to help Splunk employees or Splunkers decrease their time to value, who, hey, I got this new thing, let's apply Splunk solutions and help enable that, as well as, we want to be a showcase for customers. We want to be able to help have an environment that we can actually show folks, show, and
and I've actually done that before, where we had one of the directors or VP level, I forget who it was at the moment, but basically talk to a peer of his in IT at one of our customers and say, check out how we're using Splunk internally to solve a problem. So it was a neat kind of showcase, like you said. I'm kind of curious
on what Charlie was alluding to before. Like, in my job function and best practices, that the way we do things here at Splunk is prime material for us to evangelize back out to customers and say, hey, here are the best practices, as validated by the fact that we're doing them.
Yep. And part of it is also helping that evangelism internally as well. Like, actually right now as we're recording this, Clara is helping run the first internal Splunk user group.
Really?
Yes, that's actually going on.
I didn't know about that, and I think that all of us should probably know about that, don't you think?
At least all Splunk employees.
Yeah.
Everyone grab your equipment. We're gonna let's bring the whole
go there
podcast.
right now.
Yeah, let's bring it all there.
But
so were there things that when you came in, I mean, as a customer, looking at what had been done already and said, whoa, this is actually not the best way to do this. This is not, this isn't what makes sense.
Yes. And so my personal passion happens to be around identity and access management and role-based access controls.
Weird flex.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, but but like, for example,
how else are you going to get identities to steal? I mean,
excellent. Anyway, but like, for example, there's a previously mentioned best practice about, hey, if you create a role for each of your indexes, then you can assign people dynamically, which is true. However, it's not, and I'm working on putting together a Splunk blog post to try to correct this, as well as talk to Birch to get all the best practices updated. But if you take a security lens, there then is, okay, that's awesome that I can add people easily, but then it's the auditing of, okay, why does this person have this? That becomes very, very hard to do if you don't have automation to populate and unpopulate all those AD groups. So ideally, you should be defining your role. Like, this is my current thinking, is ideally you should be defining your roles based off of, this is my team/job identity, and then you add permissions to that, whether that's through role inheritance or something else. So that way you have, not only I have granular permissions, but I also have auditing as to members of this team, or this type of definition of a person has this sort of access in these applications, environments, etc., as well as, and so it's actually completing the picture by.
It becomes more self-descriptive too of why. So I think, fortunately, I think that's actually what we do try to evangelize, that like having roles correlating to the indexes is one implementation detail, but then having like a team role where it's an amalgam of those 5 different features of the role definition. So now you get that self-descriptive, like Hal is a member of the Splunk Talk group, and therefore the Splunk Talk group has access to these capabilities, these search filters, these indexes, and it becomes more self-descriptive in that way. Does that line up with where you're going?
Yep.
The only challenge that I see, and I don't know that there's a really fix for this, is that these definitions change sometimes multiple times a year. in probably a worst case scenario, but every year there's a reorg, or there's so these things change, and
it's
That's actually why having the more meticulous control ends up being beneficial, because the backside of that is, well, we just put everyone in the admin role, and then you quickly figure out like, oh wait, we need different types of admins, and then 6 months later you go, well, actually we need to do it by team, but then like those teams get ripped apart, and so the benefit here is, out of the box it seems like overkill. But when you start having a wider breadth, having a more nuanced or meticulous control ends up being a lot more scalable and cleaner to keep true.
Yep. We scared Hal off.
Yeah.
All right. That was very abrupt.
Oh boy. Oh,
It's all right. We can fix it in post. It's no big deal.
we can put a little stick figure Hal. We bounce him around.
Oh,
no
that's
problem.
going in. Yep, that's happening.
So Charlie, we talked about trust. We talked about your role with the gallery with Splunk at Splunk. I feel like we're forgetting one of the major boulders.
I haven't actually finished the Splunk at Splunk story a little bit.
Oh, you finised? No, come on, continue.
Well, so like that's part of the thing is like internal evangelism. So like, so I know we're posting this externally, and so you can always cut this out if need be. But like, I actually hold
corporate value of being open.
Yeah, I hold office hours for Splunk employees twice a week. And so there's a internal Slack channel, which is AMA Teddy Bear, because both the Reddit AMA, it's the Ask Me Anything from Reddit, not the American Medical Association or Against Medical Advice, but anyway, acronym soup is hard. But it's, people can like I open a Zoom and, hey, you want to talk about a Splunk architecture, you want to talk about Splunk, access controls, you want to talk about indexing, searching, development, take your pick, and we'll try to either address it or get you ideas to get to a better direction, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. You know what else is kind of cool? Hal is back, and so just as awkwardly as he walked away,
don't know what you're
I think
talking
we
about.
should very awkwardly acknowledge that he's back. So everyone just stare at him.
I expect nothing different of each of you. So thank you.
Honestly, I think it's all of our turn now. We get to go away.
Yeah,
And
everyone drift away. Carry the show.
So,
Hal!
I got this, no problem. So where were we?
yes.
It was me.
Let's see.
Not awkward at all. See, the challenge though is that I don't see, I don't need you guys. You can just go. I got this. Don't worry about it. No problem.
You heard it first, folks.
No, this is a team effort. So we will collectively make.
In all my
something that's
silliness to
really
be
subpar.
rolling around in my chair, I somehow wrapped up my headset in the chair.
I wonder if I can roll a little bit. My desk thing is some.
I'm standing so that way you can do a little dance.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've never been one of those stand-up desk people.
Oh, but if you get like a good pad
Mhm.
underneath you, it's you can stand.
You don't even
notice. It just kind of stands. It's really kind of nice. And I mean, I have the chair if I need to sit, but
yeah,
that way I don't stand all day. But
Do you have a
Jeremy,
sit-stand
are you a
desk?
stander or a sitter?
I am currently sitting, and you have to have. Well, you can't even really see it. You got to have the cool gaming chairs. Hal, you know what's up.
I know what's up. Yeah, check that out. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
And there-
now Charlie, your camera's off, so you look like
No,
a
no,
little
he's
short
on.
guy.
Oh, I thought you meant off.
Just off angle.
Yeah.
So hey, I have a question. Because this is going to be like the best segue ever. So speaking of speaking of
best
whatever it
segue
was,
ever is just disappearing.
best segue ever. Speaking of that thing that y'all were speaking of a couple minutes ago when I wasn't here, Charlie, you were at Conf. What were some of your favorite takeaways?
Dude, Hal, you and I are so on the same page because I really wanted to get his perspective on that.
See?
Yeah. So it's actually really interesting being a employee after being a customer.
Mm-hmm.
So Conf is still awesome.
It doesn't diminish. Like, it's not like you get to see the sausage being made and it's not as glory.
No. It's more like I am here to serve the customers more.
Mm-hmm.
And so like there was.
Did you have a job at the show?
Yes, I was actually part of the Ask the Experts area at Conf.
Nice. Yep. And
so because I am this Splunk teddy bear, I was running around with my teddy bear fez. I also had my cape on, and I was there to just take all sorts of different customer questions about their environment. We would dive deep into what they were doing architecture-wise, what should they be doing, what are the trade-offs, et cetera, et cetera. But I also helped, so Russ Uman has the first time run desk, which you actually know where that comes from, right? Where the name of why it's called FTR?
When you install Splunk for the first time, you have the first time run, setups. You got to accept the license and it's going to, create your certificates and whatever.
And it's actual file that's called FTR.
Right. And if the file is not there,
the marker file.
It knows to do it.
If the file is there, it knows to do it. It takes away
not
the
to
file.
Do it. Whatever.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
And so part of that booth was the. Oh, Bert, you're being fun. So fun. Anyway, part of that booth was doing the Splunk LARP game. Did you hear about this?
Oh, no, I didn't.
I did not hear about this at all, and I wish I did.
Yeah. So basically, I was an
live action role
indexer.
Play.
Yes, live action role play. I served as a Splunk indexer, and so let's see. Do I have my conf lanyard here? No, I have my boss of the sock badge, but anyway. And so I had a little button that identified me as a indexer. Oh, yep, that's a nice boss of the sock there, Bert.
I don't have anything on mine.
Well, you had to get the pins so that way you could have all your
pins
37 pieces of flair.
I do have them, but I've already taken them off of the badge.
That was a reference to the movie Office Space, which I would like to highlight. I watch every time I have a job change. The night before I watch Office Space.
That's weird. That's very weird.
Yes. But so I had a little badge that said I was an indexer and I had a bucket. And so customers could role play as a forwarder, in which case they would have to create an event at the FTR booth and go and out to the world and bring their event to a forwarder. Or sorry, they're a forwarder. They bring the event to an indexer, and so I, as an indexer, would then have to process the event in terms of all of the directives I've been given. Whether that. So,
did you have like an easy bake oven with you everywhere you went, so that you can cook the data?
We should probably tell Russ he needs to get us some more. Get us those easy bake ovens. But I did have a little metal.
Found my flare.
Nice.
I didn't know you had a Fez.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I'm one of the first crew back with Rachel and them.
Yep.
We should start including like a sonic screwdriver with those, just to really send it home, complete the look, and a bow tie.
I'm guessing the back of your Fez. You have an Answers Fez too, don't you?
No.
Oh, okay. Yours was the other one. Okay. Not the non-printed back one. Okay.
Is comparing Fezes like is that like presidential candidates talking about their hand sizes?
I'm just going to leave that one. I'm not touching that one.
Good
But
call.
anyway,
Good call.
so
Don't want to handle that one.
so
So you got the events.
so I got the events, and so I had dang it, Bert.
Focus.
Uh,
So you got the events.
I get the events, and so I then process. So sometimes forwarders would bring me. They called it a Transforms Conf card, but not all the directives that were on there were from Transforms Conf. Like do things like I need to do index time eval, or I need to do sed command to replace some data.
That's a
inside the event.
props command.
Yeah. But or I needed to enable use ACK, and so in which case once I had the confirmed that the event was in my bucket, I yelled ACK at the forwarder. And then
so would you just like you're just like very calm and you're like, oh,
Yep.
okay, thank you.
Exactly. But once the forwarder has their event in my bucket, they were awarded with Buttercup bucks.
Ooh.
Oh, so we got to talk about that. That was one of the coolest things ever that we've done at the conference.
But so to finish the LARP, though. Oh, the other side of just getting data into Splunk is kind of useless. So there was also customers who played the role of search heads, who had to come to the indexers to take the events and bring them back to the users at the FTR booth to be rewarded with Buttercup bucks as well.
Did people walk up to you and they were like, hey, I'm just curious about, like, hypothetically speaking, over all time, index equals star, and then you would then be locked down for a while?
There was a detention. It wasn't detention. It was a TCP routing command that would say, "Oh, I reject you. Sorry, I'm in detention. You have to go find another one."
Oh, nice.
But
so the Buttercup bucks, that really was cool. It was a blockchain implementation for a currency created at the event, and then at the end you could either cash it in like tickets at an arcade for Splunk swag or donate it. And then one individual, I forget her name, but she what was it?
Caroline?
Was it Caroline? She took it upon herself to basically collect as much of everyone's spare change in Buttercup bucks and put it all towards the Emancipation initiative, right? And
so that's what happened. Okay.
Yeah, and they
I was
called her
wondering
out
about that
in
because it was
the
a bit of an
conference.
upset, right?
Oh yeah,
An upset?
Yeah. I mean, the point of this was to get people to, make a choice about which charity they wanted to support, which is really cool. But she kind of went and, it's not that she gamed the system, but it was a campaign, right? She had a mission.
Yeah,
and then you could
disrupted
track it, because all of these cryptocurrency transactions were being tracked in real time using Splunk, and you could follow along at the show. I think it was at the dashboard control room area.
Yes.
Where there were the and people that are watching the video, I've got a blog post that highlights a lot of the stuff that was happening. A lot of cool dashboards that basically showed what these transactions were and who was doing what and how it was working out. It's a really cool story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
other
also,
go ahead.
No, go ahead, Charlie.
I was going to say the other really cool thing that was called out during keynote, and this is getting into the community, was there was actually B-sides at Conf. And again, this was
tell us what B-sides are.
Yeah, so B-sides is, I guess it formed from being a security conference of there was so many good talks that were being rejected from, was it Black Hat or DEF CON or something, that they created a B-sides conference. So it was like, oh, let's have another conference set full of talks. But basically there was a lot of talks that a number of folks in the community thought, hey, those really should be a conf talks as well, And so they actually had a part of the community booth that was on the floor there where they set up to give these very technical, I guess not all of them were Well, there were some
But
of them.
but
Not
it's
that
all
like
of
they
them
didn't
were
make
technical.
they didn't
But
they're
make the
all
album
good.
cut, so they were
Yeah.
the
well, see,
B-sides.
and this is the tragedy. I mean, Leslie talked about this a little bit when we had her on the show, but there's so much good content that comes in one of these things, and there's just not enough room, you know.
Yep.
So it is not that they were bad; it's just that they're going to only be able to take 5% of the submissions or whatever, some ridiculously low number.
And actually, to give a little plug, there's I don't know much about it, but there's a virtual conf coming up, and so some of the sessions have been withheld from being replay available, so that they can be used in that event.
Yeah, I haven't heard. I've heard that
I
that's
believe
happening.
that we will know about it, and marketing will have a push for it, no doubt.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
My talk got held for that, and so I felt
Okay,
flattered, but flattered, but also it is like after you finish something, you kind of want to share it with people. So I was like,
hey Jeremy, my talk got held.
no, if I'm gonna brag, I'm gonna brag that this was the best rated year for me. I got my numbers. Yeah.
Oh, you got
I
your
got
numbers?
Yeah, I
Ooh,
got my
I need to
numbers.
ask for my numbers. Maybe I don't
Of the
want to see
three
my numbers.
criteria, I got like a 4.68 or 4.85 or something,
Neat.
and then the two other ones 4.99 and a solid 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
Neato.
Out of 5. But anyway, I could brag all day.
Okay, Boomer.
How long you been waiting for that
Man,
one?
you really pounced.
Oh,
I had to. After your handling quip earlier.
Well,
I've been
I'm
trying
doing
not
the
to
math
lose
right
it.
now, and I'm like, I think you might be the youngest one here, but I don't. I think I might be next.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well,
am I don't know.
for those who can't see the chat, it's it's something special.
Oh wait, are you guys like quipping
No,
to each
don't
other on
look.
the internal?
Don't
Don't look. It doesn't get better. It gets worse.
Yeah. So we've just got a couple minutes left here.
Yep.
Okay. What did we not hit on that we wanted to? We talked about the gallery. We talked about trust.
Splunk at Splunk.
Did we
Trust.
finish any of the major points you wanted to make there, Charlie? I know trust was almost like our narrative that allowed us to tangent.
Yeah, I mean there is just so much to trust and the people that are in trust. I mean, I mentioned like Dwayne Waddle and George Starcher are amazing. They had an SSL talk that they would give many times over. That was the go-to all talk about how to do SSL in Splunk. It's unfortunate that they haven't been able to do it in several years, and so there was a guy named Doug Brown down in Australia.
That's a weird last name.
Yeah, but he did how to do SE Linux with Splunk, and like all the ins and outs of that is really kind of cool. He also has a number of other security projects that is like, okay, how did monitor this, that, or the other thing. There's someone that has made a Vim add-on for Splunk syntax highlighting in conf files and whatnot. I think that was Yorokobi, Colby Williams. Of course, flip back and forth between actual real life handle and
I struggle with this as the Reddit moderator. I struggle with remembering what people's handles are versus their names.
Yep.
Get your brands in order, guys. Pick one name and stick with it. That's why I made one up.
It's your first
You're
name.
just Birch.
Okay, Boomer.
So
the unfortunate thing is we've got like 2 minutes, and you have to now do that a third time.
So real quick, I wanted to give people that wanted to learn more about the trust somewhere to go to think about that. So if you just Google SplunkTrust, you'll find this page, which is like link number 1 or 2 or something. But
there's myself,
there's
Don, and Clara.
So yeah, just there's a cool page talks about who the trust are, what do they do. There's 66 of them now, over 12 countries, which is pretty cool. And talks about the program and how to become one, and learning more about some of the people and why they do what they do. So pretty awesome story. Just wanted to share that. The page is here to talk about it.
As Nick Cage would say, being in trust it's high praise.
Are we going
Jeremy,
to?
come on!
Perhaps...
I was waiting for you to. That was it.
Nope.
No. I think we should have a Nick Cage quote every show. Guys, anybody in favor?
Or a Chuck Norris-ism?
Go with
Keanu
that.
Reeves.
I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say yes.
Dude.
Whoa.
Hey, can I know this is like the most unsegued thing ever, but I had a really cool technical breakthrough with Splunk like just before this recording started.
Did you really? Can you talk about it in 1 minute
and
or less?
I can, yeah. So I was trying to extract some data from just semantic, name equals value text that I actually deposited through summary indexing, except I had quotes in it and they were all escaped. But I just assumed that the KV mode, the knowledge value, the key value pair mode for Splunk always handled escaped quotes, but it wasn't working. It was just getting up to that first backslash and then terminating the value of the field. Ooh. So it turns out if you check out KV mode in props.conf, there's auto_escaped. And why that is not the default will always be a question to me.
What do you know boomer. How to tell people? No, that was awful.
Did you say okay, boomer?
He did. That was not bad. Actually. Props, Jeremy.
Yeah. Hey guys, did you hear about this Splunk thing?
Okay,
out of
boomer.
touch? Yeah.
But yeah.
I was just going to ask a question that I knew the answer to, which was, if you don't know what the default is for something, to find that out, just look at the spec file. So props.conf.spec, or if you could just Google literally props.conf spec, you'll find.
And if you want to see what the runtime is, you do Splunk boomer list. I mean btool list.
Yes.
That's not runtime. That's what is on disk.
Yes, you're right. I was too focused on plugging in the word boomer.
Is there a way to get the runtime effectively?
There is for some of them. There are REST commands to get what is the current state of running, but btool is what is on disk.
If you restart,
if you restarted, you can guarantee it, but it's not necessarily the same, which it fights a lot.
So we have the REST commands for some, but not something for the rest.
Well, we have a shirt for that.
There is a rest for the wicked.
No rest for the wicked.
Yes.
So yeah, we're just up on time here. So Charlie, thank you so much. Not only for covering a wide berth of topics, but also secret behind the curtain thing. But Charlie helped us out in a last minute pitch. Our guest got ill. And so Charlie jumped in moment's notice. And
well, if you didn't tell anybody that he was our second choice, they would not have known.
No, I want Charlie to know his place.
Okay.
I know my place. I mean, I am here. I live to serve.
You were already on our list, just not for this time. So
yeah,
to be fair.
And I think we should probably have some more Splunk at Splunk folks here in the future, because I know in view of coming attractions, there might be some things that we try to open source about. Hey, here's things we're doing internally, and those are things that like Clara and Mason and folks are working on, and
sounds like
I definitely see that
a good plan,
a recurring thing.
Yeah,
awesome. Well, with that, let's go ahead and wrap it here, guys and gals. Thank you for listening, watching, attending. Don't forget to hit the like button, the subscribe button, share with your friends.
Share with your enemies.
Write reviews. Share with your enemies. Basically tell people to either go to or go away from the things that we create. We'd really appreciate it.
Happy Splunking.
No press is bad press. No, we're not doing that, guys.
Oh yeah,
guys.
yeah we are. Bye.